15 kilót. Ezért legalább érdemes volt. Hogy ez fejlődik. Meg látszik ám a szakadatlan munka. Már azon, aki fetszöl vele. Ilyen, rád se bírok nézni.
As a hardcore horror fan, I can handle any bizarre genre. But this movie about eating really makes me feel waves of nausea. I really have no appetite these days. I suggest viewers who prefer mild content to think twice. Even if you love hardcore stuff, do not watch this while eating. The movie tells a bizarre story of 3 generations in Hungary. Taxidermia. The first generation is an ugly soldier named Vindel. The story takes place at the end of World War II. It is a strictly hierarchical and dictatorial society. At the bottom, the low-ranking soldier Vindel does chores like chopping wood, feeding pigs, and carrying manure every day. If his work slacks even a little, he faces insults and scoldings from Placid. Over time, this repressed and boring life gradually makes his mind dark and twisted. In the dead of night, he likes to burn his own body with candle flames. He wants to experience that painful yet itchy pleasure. When pouring bathwater for the daughters of Placid, he intentionally slows down, taking forever with a single bucket of hot water and simply does not finish pouring it. After pouring the water, he does not leave right away, but instead quietly presses against the window to spy on them. And after the girls leave, he even bends down, buries his head in the dirty water, and greedily slurps it up. The wooden tub beneath him has a very wide range of use. It can be used as a bed to sleep in. It can serve as a coffin for the deceased Placid. It can be a cradle for a baby, and even dirty clothes can be washed inside it. The most ridiculous thing is that it can even be used to knead dough and store food. In a normal world, objects have clear functional boundaries. But this multi-purpose wooden tub is more like a symbolic prop of his distorted human nature. It is the materialization of his chaotic, filthy, and bottomless spiritual world. The turning point happens on the day of the pig slaughter. In order to entertain guests, Placid slaughters the old sow that the man painstakingly raised for 3 years. He does not have a single person to communicate with in his life. He usually can only share his innermost thoughts with the old sow. This pig is basically his emotional support. Now that his emotional support is eaten, the man naturally feels terrible. He hides away and secretly plays with a candle. In his dazed state, the pork in the wooden tub actually turns into a woman with a voluptuous rear. This woman is exactly the wife of Placid. The man excitedly pounces on her. After a night of madness, Placid, who comes to get the pork, is completely shocked to his core. The pork certainly cannot be eaten. Such a perverted person naturally cannot be kept around either. The man's tragic and brief life comes to an end right here. Shortly after, Placid's wife gives birth to a baby boy. This is originally something to be quite happy about. The bizarre thing is that a tail actually grows on the baby's butt, and it is even a pigtail. The movie does not specify the reason. A wild guess is that this might be a genetic anomaly involving the man, Placid's wife, and the sow. And it also serves as a metaphor that this child's life will be just like a pig's. Placid does not have the heart to eliminate the child. In the end, he just cuts off his tail. In a flash, 10 years pass. The son Kalman grows up, and he is a chubby little kid who can really eat. In that special era, people with big appetites are especially sought after. The fatter your physique is, the more popular you are. So he is sent to a competitive eating youth training camp. Even though he is the youngest in there, his eating speed far exceeds his peers. After all, his innate physical genes give him an advantage that others cannot match. After this, the man is trained into a competitive eater with an incredible appetite. Overcoming all obstacles along the way, he wins national competitive eating championships of all sizes. But in this highly anticipated national competition, the contestants are all top-tier powerhouses chosen from thousands. He finally meets some fierce rivals. It is worth mentioning that he also meets a plus-sized beauty. She is also a competitive eater. But today, she comes to cheer them on. In the first match, the man only gets second place. But for this newly arrived young contestant, this result is already very impressive. During the intermission, the contestants all take medication to induce vomiting, to empty their stomachs and make room for food in the next match. After all, eating food that far exceeds the stomach's capacity limit is impossible to do by bodily instinct alone. At this time, the man confidently tells his friend that he will definitely make her his wife. The friend thinks he must be crazy. Since it is their first time meeting, he does not even know her name. Their conversation is completely overheard by the coach. The coach yells and harshly tells him to face reality and remember why he is here. Your mouth is for eating, not for kissing. These words completely mirror his hidden pigtail, implying that he is indeed a pig raised by society. Soon, the second match officially begins. This time, the featured food is pork jelly. The contestants lift their large iron spoons and dive into the food. Before they can swallow the last bite, the next spoonful is shoved into their mouths, terrified of being overtaken by their rivals. Only when they are choking terribly do they take a sip of water to soothe their throats. Her cheers from the distant stands clearly drift into his ears. His mind wavers, and he cannot help but look up to search for her. During this brief moment of distraction, the large iron spoon suddenly gets stuck in his throat. He cannot pull it out no matter what, and the situation is serious as his mouth is completely blocked. Although he loses the match, the man unexpectedly wins the woman's heart. The two quickly get married and enjoy a sweet, stable, and happy time. Unfortunately, the good times do not last, as the severe injury to his throat leaves the man with lifelong complications. No matter how hard he works, his competitive eating results are not as good as before, and he can never return to his peak form. Since he has no skills other than eating, the heavy pressure of reality instantly hits him. During this time, his wife finds out she is pregnant, and during her checkup, the doctor advises her not to gain too much weight or it will affect the baby's normal development. But to give the next generation a good living environment, she still takes the risk to accompany her husband to a holiday performance. As long as he eats 45 kilograms of caviar within the required 20 minutes, the man will qualify for the international championship and win a huge cash prize. 45 kilograms is 90 pounds, and finishing it within 20 minutes means eating 4.5 pounds every minute, which far exceeds any bodily limit. Halfway through the match, the wife can no longer hold on, and even after vomiting, her stomach turns in waves and she breaks into a cold sweat, but she still forces herself to finish the match. Finally, when she can breathe a sigh of relief, she faints and the baby is born prematurely. Ironically, the baby is skinny and small, not inheriting a single bit of the couple's obesity genes.
Gyerek. Fel fogjuk nevelni, cica.
They say a man's words cannot be trusted. Although the man promises to support the family, he knows how to do nothing except eat. After stopping professional competitions, he just stays at home all day eating and sleeping, relying on his wife to enter various competitions to make money and support him. However, one day she finally loses her patience, leaves the man, and walks away. Fortunately, their son grows up and becomes an excellent human statue artist, while also being obsessed with making animal taxidermy. His life is dull and boring, living a routine life every day, except for a weekly massive shopping trip to the supermarket to see his favorite goddess.
Ez bajnok szelet. Meg ez a nyaloka. Meddig van ma?
38.526.
És holnap is maga van.
Too bad she does not even spare him a glance. The son cannot help but feel a bit depressed, but he still looks forward to their next meeting. After shopping, he also has to go to his father's apartment to clean the room and take care of the cats. The cats are all huge and have an incredible appetite. This amount of butter is probably enough to last the son for a week. His father has always trained them as competitive eating cats. Once he can no longer compete himself, he places all his obsession and ambition onto the cats, delusional about reclaiming his former glory through them. And this fat man, whose body resembles a queen ant, is the son's father, Kalman. He is even fatter than before. He is so fat that he cannot stand up, so he has to relieve himself right on the chair, leaving it for the son to clean up afterward. His only entertainment every day is repeatedly watching competition videos from his youth. While reminiscing about his past glory, he ridicules his former rivals and disdains the skinny son for not looking like him at all. Furthermore, without considering his physical condition at all, he continues to binge eat uncontrollably, filling an entire wall with chocolate. They are all wholesale products bought secretly by his son, and he never tears off the wrapping paper when eating.
Talán ha levennéd a papírt előbb.
Akkor most figyeljél. Látod?
Azt tanjolt is.
Csak úgy csúszik. Sipakon 400 darab per óra. Stadióval együtt viszont 570.
És ki jön ez?
Beépülsz. Nálam még nem volt olyan, hogy valami ne épült volna be, aminek beszélek volna.
On this day, the son goes to the supermarket for another big shopping trip, still giving the female cashier a lollipop, only to be coldly ignored again. When he comes to the apartment to clean up, he gets scolded mindlessly by his father again, making his already miserable mood even worse.
Hogy mit mondtál? Papa!
Vegyen már észre, hogy én szégyellem magam miattad!
Te miattam? Én meg hányok tőled?
The constantly repressed son finally snaps. I take care of your every need, every single day, only to be humiliated by you like this. Who can stand this kind of mistreatment? He drops some harsh words and completely refuses to serve him anymore.
Bírnád nélkülem, hogy hány napig? Éhen döglenél a büdös, portoló macskáiddal együtt. Megennek a szar meg a piszok. Még a WC-re is képtelen vagy egyedül kimenni.
Intézem élet! Nem kell, hogy szívességet tegyél!
Észre, hogy nincs egy ember, akit még nem üldöztél ki a világon. Én nem fogok. Vedd tudomásul. Macska Jancsi. Megértetted?
Szétütöm a pofádat, te kis szar! Mit képzelsz te magadról, Macska
Na mi
Jancsi?
van? Meg akarsz pofozni? Na gyere! Gyere, üssél meg!
The father and son completely turn against each other. The son slams the door and leaves in a rage. Nobody notices that a pet cat slips out through the crack of the door during the chaos. After coming out, the son goes straight to the gym. He desperately wants to prove himself. Even though he looks weak, explosive power is still hidden in his bones, proving he is not a worthless piece of trash. He spends an entire week doing high-intensity training at the gym. His anger gradually fades away. He still worries about his father in his heart. Even if his father is selfish and harsh, he is still his only family. But a bad premonition always lingers in his heart. The supermarket cashier is replaced by a man at some point. This disappointment makes his already depressed life even bleaker. He returns to his father's apartment. The inside of the house is also strangely quiet. The son walks inside to take a look and is completely stunned. The father is already dead. A large hole is deeply gnawed into his massive abdomen. His rectum and internal organs are pulled out. The scene is horrific. Blood and feces cover the entire floor. A black and white cat is still eating with great relish. After the intense shock, a wild and twisted plan pops into the son's mind. He decides to turn the father's body into a specimen, transforming it into an eternal piece of art. After clearing the interior of the father's body, he stuffs it with straw and quickly completes this great work. However, things do not end here. Long-term humiliation from his father and the suppression of empty emotions, combined with a morbid obsession with taxidermy art, makes the son decide to turn himself into a specimen too. He fixes himself onto a sophisticated machine. After injecting the anesthetic, he calmly cuts open his body with a scalpel, showing us a visual feast of anatomy. The bright red muscle beneath his skin looks no different from pork. His veins are sliced open. He removes his internal organs one by one, keeping only his heart to sustain life, and then sews his empty body back together, stitch by stitch. After doing all this, he places his neck on a guillotine and fixes his right hand under a cutting machine to perform the final step of this ritual. Later, a customer who comes to pick up a specimen discovers these two shocking masterpieces. At the end of the film, the two artworks are placed in the center of the exhibition hall, surrounded by visitors. A lifelong obsession to stand out is finally fulfilled in such a grotesque and twisted way. The son sculpts himself into a headless and armless Greek-style statue. Why does he have to cut off his head and arms? This actually hides the deepest metaphor. Beheading means giving up thought, and cutting off arms means giving up action. No longer bound by reality or driven by fate. Through the most extreme self-dissection and body modification, he completely breaks the absurd cycle of 3 generations. He turns himself into a forever silent and forever immortal ultimate specimen. Taxidermia uses the absurd lives of 3 generations to thoroughly explain the most oppressive dilemmas of human nature. Goes from oppression to distortion, from captivity to binge eating, and from lonely despair to self-destruction. 3 generations can never escape the cycle of fate. Behind the seemingly hardcore and bizarre imagery hides a brutal satire of power, desire, survival, and dignity. Once people lose themselves and get pushed around by life, they ultimately just become a manipulated prop or a soulless specimen. See you next time.